My name is Momcho and I am trying to lose 4 to 6 kilos within 2 months. Now I'll give you my breakdown as to why I'm trying to lose 4 to 6 kilos within 2 months. And some of you might be thinking, hey Momcho, that's not a lot to lose within 2 months. It's very achievable. And that is exactly right. Because first things first, when it comes to losing weight, achievable goals are probably the most secure, the best thing that you can do for your own mentality. Setting unachievable goals in any sphere of life is probably just going to debilitate you. But a little bit more about me. About 5 years ago, I was roughly 110 kilos. So I know a thing or two about losing weight. Currently, I sit at about 84.8, 84.9 kilograms, and I've had some snacks today, so I'm not weighing in at the perfect level. But I'm going to do a weigh-in in just in a second for you guys. I also think I sit at around 18% body fat. If I look like I sit lower or higher, please let me know in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get right into exactly how much I weigh and exactly what I look like currently, where my physique is at, because I'm looking to get shredded and summer is in just 2 months. Did I forget to mention? Today is the 1st of June. So come with me. I am literally going to take you with me so that you can see exactly how much I weigh. Okay, I think this is fine. Yep, this is all right. I'm gonna take it. This is exactly fine. Now for the actual weigh-in, let's check it out. Let me just turn it on first. The phone is going to weigh something. But in order to figure out exactly how much it'll weigh, I will put the phone down right now. I've just put the phone down and it says 25 kilograms. 0.25 kilos, my bad. Anyway, so whatever I weigh, I'm going to take off 0.25. And we're going to figure out exactly how much I weigh right now after I've had some food today. Currently, I'm sitting at 84.8 kilos. 84.8 kilos. Okay, pants are back on and schlong is back in its pocket. Shorts. And I've just shown you exactly how much I weigh, 84.8. That's with the phone, so roughly I think it was 0.25 that the phone weighed, so I'm pretty certain that's 84.55 that I currently weigh. My goal to reach is 80 kilograms. So let me show you exactly how I'm gonna do that on this board right here. FYI, I have taken some inspiration from Mike Thurston's video, which I will hopefully remember to link down in the description, but if you don't know who Mike Thurston is, then you should probably go check him out because, frankly, apparently I've had a man crush on him for the past couple of months and I can't stop watching his videos because cool life, bro. Anyway, let me bring you right in. Come here. Come a bit closer to Papa Chill. There we go. And now you can see exactly my plans. So first, I'm going to begin with exactly how I'm going to be working out. Now you might be asking, how much do you work out, Moncho? It's simple. I work out nearly every single day. I give myself 2 days of rest because I think overtraining is unnecessary, especially for a person like me who isn't trying to be a professional athlete in any regard. I do pretty strong sessions that roughly last an hour and a half to 2 hours of training time. Pretty much every session starts with 15-minute hill sprints where I do a minute 15 walking uphill and then I do 45 seconds sprinting. And then I do 10 seconds off the treadmill, back to walking for about a minute and 5 seconds, get to the minute 15 marker in the next session, and then run again for 45 seconds. That hits me with about 200 calorie deficit just on the running. Perfect for when I'm trying to lose weight, but obviously build some kind of endurance. See, I'm not the biggest guy. I mean, I don't know if you can tell or not, but I mean, my muscles don't look bad. Hell, even from here, like, it doesn't look bad. My muscles don't look bad, but I'm not the biggest guy and I'm not trying to be. I'm not tall, so I'm not going to be the strongest, but I can probably endure more than most people, and so that's what I'm going for. Endurance, maybe some speed, maybe some agility. In general, I just want to feel good, I want to look good, you know what I mean? And then stick with that until the day I die, hopefully at the ripe old age of 1,053. So, how do I work out? Very simple. My first day is a push day. So here I'm targeting my shoulders first, I then go on to chest, and I then go on to triceps. I try to take my workouts in order of what I think is most important, and then give some time, of course, always to core, and of course, always to legs. I don't actually have a leg day here, and I know how important legs are, especially when it comes to my legs. My legs are semi-scrawny, they aren't looking particularly big, or strong, but I make do with what I've got and I'm just trying to make them stronger. So with every session, I'm also adding legs and I'm also adding core. I quite enjoy it. I'm trying to get more stability in my core, trying to get more balance overall, become a bit more athletic, become a bit more of a menace on the streets, if you know what I mean. If you come up on me, I just want to make sure that I'm ready. So day one is push. Now usually my push and pull split looks something like this. I try and get in and out of the gym pretty much as fast as possible. At this point, I've been going to the gym for about 8 years, and frankly, in England right now, going to the gym that I'm going to, I'm finding it boring. The scenery is the exact same. So I'm trying to be in and out as fast as possible while changing things up. I know for a fact that in order to maintain muscle, you need roughly 5 to 15 sets of working on a particular muscle group in order to grow / maintain it. Mainly to grow obviously on the higher end, but you don't want to be burning yourself out regardless of the situation. And so I aim for roughly 5 to about 8 sets every single week for every single muscle group. And in my actual workouts, it goes something like this. I do 2 sets of shoulders. I then do 2 sets of chest. I then do 2 sets of triceps, followed by 3 sets of legs, because I'm only doing legs once. Then I go back into that loop. So I do 2 sets of shoulders again, just hitting the shoulders from a different angle. 2 sets of chest again, just hitting them from a different angle again. Maybe instead of doing chest press, I'll do flies. Or maybe I'll do incline and then decline. It just depends on how I'm feeling on the day or whatever I have in my actual book. Then in the end, I do abs. I never forgo abs. Trust me, I know most people do. I never do. I quite enjoy it, so I'm going to stick to it. On day 2, I'm considering that rest day. Now remember, this is a loop. This is a loop-de-loop. So I'm actually going hit and core, full body, then push, and then day 2 being rest. So day 2, I'm resting, but I just need to make this very clear. Again, I'm trying to be in a calorie deficit. And so every single day, I think actually, regardless of whether you're in a calorie deficit or not, I think every single day you should be doing 10,000 steps. I think 10,000 steps just generally across the board has so many health benefits. Not only are you activating key muscle groups and the respiratory system on a daily basis, you're also moving your joints and you're moving your core and you're being mobile, right? You're being one with the outside world, even if it's on the inside in a gym. I would definitely suggest doing it outside. Get some rays, get some of that sun, vitamin D right on your skin. It's just healthy across the board. You're going to get all of the vitamin D you need. And at the same time, probably some well-earned and much needed thinking time, because how much do you actually think on your own? How much do you actually think about yourself and your own life? And how much are you retrospective? And how much do you think about the future and plan? And anyway, I just think walking is purely beneficial. Now, for somebody like me that loves to eat, even when they're supposed to be on a calorie deficit, I make sure to walk so that I can have more calories that I can eat, essentially, that I can fill up on. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to day number 3, rotation and power. This day is primarily a high interval training day. I'm really moving a lot. I'm doing pull-ups, I'm doing shoulder press landmine rotations, I'm moving the sled, I'm pulling the sled, I'm doing all of this kind of stuff. I'm doing farmer carries, and I've actually been playing around with some dragon flags recently. I'm really trying to learn that, and I've also been doing some of the Nordic leg curls, which are an absolute killer. I don't know if you've ever tried them. Try them if you can or if you want to, but seriously, they're an absolute killer. This day, probably my favorite out of the bunch. I like being active. I'm not really a fan of just moving the weight statically. Like I said, my setting right now, the environment of where my gym is, frankly, just isn't all that fun. I go to a basic pure gym. And so I'm trying to, kind of step away from that and be a bit more active, have a bit more fun with it, as it were. Next, moving on to a pull day. This has the exact same structure as the push day. So I start with the back, usually a lat pull down or a pull up of some kind. Then I go into the width part of the back session. So here, some kind of row movement. And then I'll hit biceps basically very averagely. And then I'll go into legs, do all of that again for 2 sets across the board, and then finish with abs. That's basically how that goes. I don't overthink it. I don't like to overthink training. I do what I want to do on the days, and I have a basic system around it, but that's essentially how far I go. I don't really go much further than that. Then I'm moving on to another rest day. Again, 10,000 steps is all you need. If you want to take it a bit further, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats is what got me out of the 26 kilogram rut that I was in. 26 kilograms over the current weight that I am. So 110 kilogram rut that I was in. And then moving on, Saturday is a high intensity interval training day focused primarily on core movements. So here again, very similar to the rotation and power day that I'm doing on a Wednesday, but I'm focusing it more on just kettlebell exercises, getting my heart rate up, and then really getting the core activation in. I'm in and out of the gym at this point within an hour, I think. My sessions have gotten longer, but that's only because I really take my time to warm up. Otherwise, I could be in and out of the gym in about 45 minutes to an hour 15. I don't really think you need anything more than an hour 30, even though sometimes I take about 2 hours to work out. Anyway, I digress. The final day, as you can see over here, is just a full body day. Again, it's wrapping up the entire week, making sure I'm hitting all of the muscle groups at least 5 times. Now, at this point, I've already hit them all at least 5 times, but this is where I'm really coming down to it, right? I'm really trying to hone in on the little points, the little aspects. All right, so that's how I'm training. Now, how am I eating? I think that eating is definitely the 80-20 rule when it comes to losing weight or actually body composition in general. If you want to lose weight, there are pretty much 2 ways to do it. You either eat less or you move more. The problem with moving more is that there's only so much we can move and there's so much more that we can eat. For example, if you want to eat a donut, it's roughly 300 calories and it goes in a few seconds. Let's be honest here, we're all fatties. But if you want to move for 300 calories, that's a half an hour walk at a very brisk pace uphill. It's difficult to lose more calories than you're consuming, even with our base metabolic rate. And so what you're eating is roughly going to be 80% of your actual fat loss. I know that from history and from doing it myself. Trust me, it's so much more difficult if you don't have your food on par. So when it comes to nutrition, there are 3 points that I am looking at, as you can see over here. Now, first things first, when losing weight, I also want to keep my muscles. This is one of the things that I'll see so many people do. They'll go to lose weight and they'll do everything they can to lose weight, except for actually trying to keep the muscle mass. Here's the secret. Keeping the muscle mass won't only make you look better when you've actually lost all of that fat that you're trying to get off, but it'll increase your base metabolic rate so that when you actually do get the fat off, you can eat more and still keep looking as good as you do. Similarly, muscle actually has mass to it, which means that even at a higher percentage of body fat, you will still look better than if you did not have the muscle. And then third, literally being fat is like a superpower when you take it off, because you have the perfect recipe for body recomposition. If you just change your fat cells into muscle cells, obviously that's not how it's done, but I'm just paraphrasing here. If you just maneuver both properly, you will look absolutely amazingly. And then you also feel amazing too. So there are 2 ways of actually keeping on muscle while you're losing weight. Number 1 is making sure that you're lifting heavy and lifting semi-regularly. Like I said, 5 to 15 sets every single week. This basically tells the body, hey, don't use the muscle for energy. Find something else. Because currently we're using it for some reason. It's being torn and so it needs to be repaired. AKA, your body's not going to use the muscle for energy and it will look into your fat or glycogen reserves in order to actually get some kind of energy. Then the glycogen reserves will be depleted very quickly when you're actually working out. And so it goes straight into the fat. That's also where the food comes in. If you eat the correct amount of protein, then your body has enough protein and enough amino acids in order to properly maintain the muscle mass you currently have on. Naturally, when you're losing weight, you're going to lose some muscle. But the better you do at your training and the better you do at your eating the protein, then the less muscle mass you'll lose. And as a matter of fact, you might even gain muscle. As I've lost weight, I literally have not dropped in strength. I have gotten bigger and I have gotten stronger because I make sure to keep these 2 points as king. They are key. I don't try to go into every little detail. I just try to keep the basic infrastructure of the fat loss plan that I'm going through. So then you ask yourself, how much protein should I be eating? Well, on average, I'd argue that if you want to be optimal, it should be on average twice the amount of desired kilos you want to weigh. So if you want to weigh 80 kilograms like I do, your optimal protein intake is going to be around 160 grams of protein every single day. say it with me, not once a week, not twice a week, every single day. Optimally, you need to be hitting 160 grams of protein. However, there have been some studies done that have found that as a minimum, what you can do is you can multiply your body weight in kilos by 1.6 kilograms, and that is the absolute minimum grammage of protein that you need every single day in order to maintain the muscle mass or even keep building muscle while you're losing weight, or in general every single day. This is a basic estimate of everybody's protein intake and how much they need. Now, if you're working out more, obviously the more protein you get, the better it will be for you. So finding that optimal range and then sticking to that is going to get you results way better than if you just stick to the absolute bare minimum. Hell, even going a bit over that, fine, maybe you'll have some redundant protein amounts, but who the hell cares? At least you know you're hitting your goals, as long as you're sticking to point number 2, and that is your calories. Now, your calories dictate exactly whether you are losing or gaining weight. No matter the quality of the food you're eating, at the end of the day, the amount your body burns needs to be more than the amount your body consumes. Now, there's a lot of nuance in the way that happens. For example, your body burns more when it's trying to process protein as opposed to ultra processed food. And so in general, even though a steak might be 400 calories, your body could actually be only synthesizing about 350 calories, for example. But this isn't something that we're going to take into consideration. It was just as an idea. At the end of the day, turn over the back of your packet and check out exactly what the macros are for the food that you're eating. That's going to help you the best. For me personally, I figured out my BMR literally just by going online and finding a calculator, then deciding how much my activity level is. Like I said, I'm working out 5 days a week and I'm doing 10,000 steps every single day. So I found that my base metabolic rate is 2,800 to 3,100 calories. This is always an optimal level. It's never really just one level. It's not like 2,800 calories or 2,900 calories is my base metabolic rate. Every single day that'll change. And so you have a metabolic area, essentially, where you can figure out exactly how much you're meant to be eating on a daily basis in order to maintain the weight that you're currently at. Now, with that being said, considering that this is my base metabolic rate, my goal is to lose roughly 500 to 600 calories every single day. Now, if I stick to this, that should be a rough weight loss of 0.63 to 0.75 kilos every single week. Ergo, I should be 80 kilograms or 78 kilograms or somewhere in between that range by the end of July or by the 4th of these videos, which is obviously going to be a series. I'm going to keep you guys updated and actually go into the details of how I'm eating and how I'm training. Now, this is the plan, and there is one more very important aspect to this plan in order to really round out all of the edges. And that is, I'm not going to be eating any ultra-processed foods while I'm doing this plan. There are a couple of reasons for this, and some of you might agree and some of you might disagree, but essentially the reasons are, I want to feel amazing. I want to feel like, and pardon my language, a fucking Terminator at the end of this cut. I want to look at myself and I actually want to be cut. And then I want to feel like I am an absolute Avenger. Like Captain America, when he's running, saying on your left a million times to Falcon. I can't remember the actual characters' names. It is what it is. So how am I going to do that? Well, I have a couple of staples of my diet on how I'm going to eat. And this is essentially what they are. First things first, when it comes to the basic building of my meals, the protein, the most important part. Steak, some kind of steak. And because I'm not rich, minted or made out of money, minced meat, some kind of minced meat. Now, this right here is pork. I am Bulgarian, and so pork is a staple in our diet. However, beef is my recommended and go-to. Usually, along with lamb, it is going to be the cleanest thing that you're going to be eating. And so that's what I am going for. Along with that, eggs. I don't know if you noticed the eggs. Whoops. But eggs are an absolute essential. Eggs and dairy as well. Check this out. Feta and some good old-fashioned 50% reduced mature cheddar. Now, I make sure to get reduced because I want to, of course, stick to a lower calorie end deficit, is where I want to be at, so that I can actually lose the weight
a little bit faster. I don't really have much overhang, so I'm not really going to be having much loose skin at the end of this diet. Actually, I might have none at all. I make sure that my zero sugar or my low fat versions of whatever food I'm eating have no additives. The problem with foods like this is usually they have some kind of additive in them. And so while people think they're healthier because they're getting less calories, they're actually less healthy. Sure, you're going to be losing weight faster because they have less calories anyway, but ultra-processed food messes with the gut microbiome and food regulation. Keep that in mind if you still want to be eating it. Then, alongside that, fruits. Fruits are a go-to staple. Now, tomato is, funnily enough, considered a fruit. When I say fruit, I mean the fruit of a plant. I mean the thing that the plant produced so that other animals can eat it and then poop it out. Exactly. That's why fruits were produced. That's why they're low in plant defense chemicals. That's why they're low in anti-nutrients. And so we eat fruits in order to get all of the vitamins that we need. And in order to keep it cheaper, I'm going for frozen fruits, which currently I do not have the foresight to put it on the table. But it is what it is. Alongside those fruits, I'm going with yogurt. Now, this is Bulgarian yogurt because we have the best damn yogurt in the world, because obviously everything originates from Bulgaria, including the Roman Empire. Say what you will, I don't care. But no, really, it is very nice. And alongside that, honey. Now, a lot of you think this isn't raw honey, but apparently in England, all honey is raw honey and unpasteurized. Who would have known? But there we go. That's actually a really good thing. It's just better. The enzymes haven't been changed and the vitamins and minerals are all still there within the honey. So it's actually a nutrition powerhouse. If you think honey is the exact same as sugar, there will be a video next week that will go into exactly why honey, fruits, and sugar are not the same thing. Most people on honey, most people on fruits do not act the same when on added sugar, table sugar, or added sugar in any kind of other form. Then I'm also focusing on fats. So here we have grass-fed butter. It's not raw, but it is what it is. And so we're going for this, full of fat-soluble vitamins. And so really good for us. Ultimately, the foods that I'm eating are whole foods. And ultimately, I'm looking to make sure that my foods don't have anything unnatural added to them and that they provide me with a good, stable, nutrient baseline and infrastructure. Like this, I'm going to cut out most cravings. Like this, I'm going to stay on top of my protein goals. And like this, I'm going to keep my calories low. But there's one more thing that I do, and that is intermittent fast. I actually only eat one meal a day currently. That's because it just makes me feel better. I enjoy it. And maybe in the future, when I'm trying to maintain or when I'm trying to grow, I'm going to increase that maybe to 2 meals. But right now, I'm eating only one main meal, and I'm also eating one sort of dessert, usually yogurt-based, with a bunch of honey and some frozen fruits. And like that, I'm making sure to hit roughly around 2,000 calories with a little wiggle room, because even I still crave goodies. And so I'll have a little fruit here or there. I'll have a little bit of yogurt and honey when I'm craving it. I have some dates. I love dates. Just found them out recently. So good for you and so delicious, but also really calorie dense. And then I'll just have random meat cravings around the day, which I can sate. Like this, I'm making sure to stay at roughly 2,200 calories, but opting for 2,000 just to make sure that I have enough room for error if there needs to be. Now, that being said, that's exactly my approach to how I'm going to be losing the last kilograms of fat. Actually, let me just also mention, you might have seen this in pounds. Usually I do everything in kilos. I know it in pounds, so I found it my own way. The amount of protein that I need every single day is roughly 123 grams of protein, because that 1.7, 1.6 multiplier on the amount of kilos that you want to be is roughly the same if you do the amount you weigh in pounds multiplied by 0.7. You're getting roughly the same amount of grams. Now that out of the way, that's my approach to how I'm going to be losing the fat that is currently on my body, so that I am summer ready for my own chica this summer, and so that I can look and feel my best when I'm taking my clothes off, so that my confidence is the highest, and so that I can finally achieve my lifelong goal of doing one muscle up and running shirtless along the beach while everybody, mainly men, stare at me. Obviously not mainly men. Drop in the comments exactly what you think about my approach to weight loss and to diet, nutrition, training in general. Keep an eye out for the next one of these videos. I'm going to be doing them every 2 weeks because I'm looking to lose the body fat within 2 months. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.